Hey guys, we're back in the garage working on the Mazda here. Hopefully get that finished up. The F100's pretty much done. Shh, don't tell Steven I told you. It's a little chilly in here right now. I just fired up the stove. We're going to get rolling. I might film some of the Mazda stuff too. It's been a long time coming. I finally got the last bit of my seals. So I have 100% of everything I need to put it back together now. I'm going to pack the bearings, stick them back on, and she'll be ready to roll. But what I wanted to revisit in this video was this mag pad. So we did a couple videos on this. We did the initial testing of it. Thing is awesome. I've been using it at work. It's awesome. And we did the time lapse so you could see it in real time. Now I want to talk about a few of the flaws that this thing has. So bear with me for a second. So the mag pad, well, it works really, really well. It's been probably, so I don't even know how long I've had this thing. It's been between a month and 2 months, and I use it just about every day. And as far as function goes, the thing is awesome. I love it. It works just like they said. So hats off to them. Hats off to MagPad for putting out a good product. But I do want to talk about some of its faults. Now that I've had this thing for a month or 2 months and I've been using it every day, which, that being said, I've been pretty good to this thing. I'm pretty careful with it. It does have some flaws that I've found. So I remember when I shot this video, I said, time will tell, you know. We don't know how solvents are going to affect it. We don't know how dirty metal and cleaning it off is going to be, stuff like that. As far as cleaning it off, that really hasn't been so bad with like little metal shavings and stuff like that. I can pretty much wipe anything I need to right off the surface there. I don't really know about solvents yet. I've got a little bit of this and that on it, but nothing that would really do much of anything. The huge flaw that this has had is that when this pad adheres and flexes to the surface that you're setting it on, because, you know, nothing's like completely flat most of the time unless you're going on the side of a fender like that. So unless you're doing that, this thing is flexing just a little bit and moving. And around the magnets obviously doesn't move, but the rest of it does. And it's just these kind of two thin layers on the sides of plastic, or these two thin layers of like a rubbery plastic on the sides, and the middle is foam, and the magnets are sandwiched in between in the foam. So what I noticed, which you can kind of see right here, see this like huge bubble? It's got a big bubble and one going up and down this way. The actual ends of this thing, the edges of the plastic that the foam is sandwiched between. So what I did, I found a solution, kind of, sort of, which was not pretty at all, but I took our Toyota black silicone, FitPig, great stuff, and I put a layer around the entire perimeter. That way, these two plastic sheets, or whatever you want to call it, that are on either side, that encase the magnets in the foam, can't separate, right? A couple times I've had to go back. You can see like right there where it's built up a little bit, and kind of touch it up because it would break through a little. But this stuff is strong and it's still pretty flexible, which is why I used it. And like I said, it's ugly. Like, it doesn't look good at all. But I don't care. The thing still works, and now it holds together pretty well. This seam I got pretty good, so it's actually pretty uniform. This one I've patched a couple times. But, you know, other than that, which is annoying, I'm going to be honest, it was annoying because it was, I mean, you're paranoid. The thing's falling apart while you're trying to use it. So I think there's something they could do to try to manufacture this differently so that this doesn't happen. I don't know if this is their solution. You put a bead on it. MagPad, if you're listening to me, I'm not knocking your work. I think you put out a great product, but as with the first run of anything, I think there's a few things that can be improved. If you ever put out something else, I'll give you a shout out, give me a shout out. I'll be happy to post again and review a revised product. And again, once again, I'm not saying this thing's a failure, because this thing has performed well for me. And like I said, I use it just about every day. I just noticed that the flexibility does kind of take a toll on the materials here. As far as the surface goes, everything there is holding up well. It's not cracking or splitting or anything like that. It's simply just this seam here. But it still works pretty good. So I'm going to continue to use mine even though I had to fix it. I just thought you guys should be aware of this flaw before you buy it and freak out, and maybe give you a solution, and maybe give MagPad a solution to solving this issue. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.